Good evening, everybody. You can tell by the enthusiasm in my voice. You guys don't know, but this is the 9th time I've said this intro. Hopefully, we're going live. If not, we're just going to continue going with it. I'll probably put something out here saying what happened.
That we suck at life.
That we suck at life, and
technology.
This is absolutely why there is zero production value in this. And we're just a bunch of schmucks trying to wing shit. And it's very, very disappointing. So.
I mean, you sound like a dog died.
Yeah. I mean, this was the one thing I was looking forward to all day. Promoted the shit out of it. And here we are. Looking fucking dumb.
It's all good.
So,
yeah. All right, Chris, now that you got the crowd all pumped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some positive stuff, man. Come on. Let's talk about how about 6-0 road trip?
6-0 road trip. I like it. Yeah, I mean, team looks good. And I'm multitasking.
Good observation.
I'm multitasking right now.
Team looks good. That should be the heading for the episode.
There we go. Yeah, team looks good. Back to you guys.
You get the Bill Clinton thumbs up for that.
Yeah,
Astros 2 thumbs up.
They're doing great. I heard.
Yeah. Good stuff, guys. Back to you.
Oh, well, look, at least we were all wrong on our predictions for the road trip. You know,
that's true.
I'll take that. DeCenzo got his first career home run at Fenway, hit it out of the stadium. Yainer hit a bomb. I think that was, I don't even know, that was Friday or Saturday, I think. It was like 448. Yordan owns Fenway. I mean, just straight up owns Fenway.
Hey, don't forget, what's his name? DeCenzo went yard, got his first bomb of his major league career. And the best part about that was he got the silent treatment. So.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, because I literally just said that.
Oh.
He's like, it was great. DeCenzo got his first career home run. I was like,
yeah, I'm multitasking right now. So
I think out of all the baseball traditions, like silent treatment for the first home run has got to be one of the best. Like, it makes me laugh even still. Right? Like, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Especially like when the guy's going down, like, you know, the roads.
It's like
pretend high five and just like, all right, and then everybody's like, whatever. And then he gets tackled at the end. Of course, that's always the best.
That's always the best part. Yeah.
But I mean, talking about Alvarez, what he did in Boston, I'm still going to say Yordan Alvarez, first of his name, breaker of scoreboards, was out there killing it in Tampa, and that's why I had to wear my Alvarez jersey tonight.
There you go.
Because he got a bill, I'm sure, from the stadium for about $75,000 for putting one right in the middle over there.
And how awesome does that have to be to have like that much power to break the damn jumbotron?
You know, I was thinking about that. It's like when I was growing up, like in the 90s, I remember like Shaq breaking backboards. Like we've got Alvarez now. He's broken 2 scoreboards. That's 2. So it's like if he can keep doing that, I mean, it's going to go down in history for sure.
No doubt. I mean, he, like I said, he owns Fenway, mashes down there or over there, and then breaks the jumbotron like you said, and then he's actually having some good ABs. I think he walked twice last night. I mean, the offense didn't do shit, overall, right? I don't think they had a runner in scoring position until late in the game, probably, maybe even extra innings. So, but Dubon finally came through. I know Chris was excited about it.
Fantastic. So now he's like what? 3
Listen,
for 25? in
we
the
don't
whole
talk.
in
We
the
don't
I like
talk.
whole
how PK can just push buttons over here. That's
We
perfect.
don't. We don't. We don't.
I'm already
We
high
don't.
strung with this fucking computer shit.
It's like, so it's going to
And
be
then
even easier. But we
yeah,
don't.
and
We
then
don't talk. We don't talk batting averages and stats on this show, Chris. We just talk praise about the one they call Dubon. That's it.
no, so no, fuck that guy, man. That guy's trash. I
All
mean,
right,
like,
I'm gonna bail you out real quick, so you
I
don't
mean,
have to talk about Dupont anymore. The one thing I did want to say about Alvarez before we switched on pushing Chris's buttons real quick was I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was the Rafael Devers interview that they had. It was Rafael Devers, his translator, and they were asking him, all these questions or whatever. And they're like, okay, well, who's the best hitter right now? And the translator said it was Yordan Alvarez was pretty good. And then he stopped his translator and said, no, he's the best. He is the best. And it was like, that was amazing. So it's like, that guy not only is on fire right now, but he's absolutely murdering baseballs.
well, I mean, I think it goes back to like it's like Rafael Devers. I mean, that's all star, shortstop, third base, whatever the fucking position he plays. But it's like that old saying, it's real, recognizing real. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the day, and I think we might have talked about this before. You had Pujols that everybody booed, but I mean, Pujols is amazing, right?
The machine.
Like I mean,
Literally,
so
literally the machine.
yeah, the guy was amazing. I mean, it's unfortunate the way his season kind of took a nosedive once he signed with the Angels. I mean, but like at the end of the day, you can get mad that he killed Brad Lidge for 3 years, but I mean, the dude's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, so you have to just be like, man, who else would it have been to hit a ball to Dallas, off of Brad Lidge in that situation? I mean, so it's cool seeing that other players recognize just how much of a gangster Yordan is. So I didn't see that interview. This is the first time I'm hearing it, and
Going back to the Pujols and Lich thing, do y'all remember hearing the interview? Or it wasn't an interview. It was a story about what Brad Osmus said the next day or that same night when they were flying to St. Louis. What he told Brad Lidge on the plane. Y'all ever hear that?
I don't remember that one.
no,
So like, I'll never forget it because I was at work the next day, like basically feeling sick all day because of what I witnessed the night before. But I was listening to this 610, and I forget who it was probably Granado back in those days. But anyways, the story was that what's his name? Osmus gets on to the speaker in the airplane, and like the pilot would, and like calls attention to a ball flying up next to the airplane, which would have been Pujols' home run.
Oh my God.
Just I mean, which you had. I think it is perfect, right? And that's in that sense because you're probably down. Liz probably feels like that big, right? But I mean, it's a dick move, but I think it's hilarious.
oh,
Actually,
it's funny. I mean, like I get. I mean, because that was like if they'd have won that game, they would have went to
they
the
clinched. They would have clinched that game. They clinched the next game.
yeah. I mean,
Right.
so like yes, is it a dick move? Absolutely. Is it
But it's
hilarious?
hilarious.
Yes, it's super duper funny.
Only
Yeah,
cool
I
if you
mean,
got the stewardess next to you, like handing you a scotch.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I
like
mean,
Osmus seems like the type of guy that would pull a move like that. He just looks like
yeah.
that, which is
No, I
great.
mean, and it's cool that Osmus, obviously felt comfortable enough to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's Pujols. I
Yeah.
mean, who else? I mean, who else was going to hit that home run? I mean, Scott Spezio. I doubt it.
Wasn't going to be David Eckstein. I'll tell you that much.
No, it wasn't going to be him. But yeah, Jordan's pretty good.
Dude, I will never forget that night. I watched the game in the living room of mom's house. She had a recliner back then, and so when we got to two strikes, I actually got up from the recliner, walked around the recliner, held the corner of the recliner, squatted down, and just had my eyes over the top just to watch that pitch. Like I'll never forget it. And then of course it happened, and like I didn't even scream. I literally left the living room, walked upstairs to my room, sat on the edge of the bed, put my hands on my knees, and like took like 4 deep breaths. Like the fuck did I just witness? Like it was I think the only time in my sports watching lives where I literally felt like sick to my damn stomach.
I
Let's
just
see.
remember Andy Pettit like in the dugout, and everybody's
Oh,
just silent. He's like, "Oh
and Royo
my god!"
and Roy Oswalt too. And Roy,
Yeah,
like, oh,
let's see. I was in my barracks room in Georgia, and I just remember going to a buddy's house. I mean, he was also in the barracks room as well. And we're sitting down, and he knows like I'm sweating bullets, right? And this guy's a Rangers fan, so at that point in time, the Rangers weren't even in
They
the
yeah,
didn't
game,
have fans.
right? So he looks at me and he said, what would be fucked up? And I'm like, what?
it's like
Like
don't
if
even say
Pujols
it.
just hit a home run. And I was like, oh. And the second he said that, I think it was 2 pitches later. That's when he hit that home run. I ended up walking out of the barracks room, walked back to my barracks room, and I mean, I was just completely stunned. I mean,
Yeah,
like I've never seen a crowd go from losing their shit to
complete
completely. You could
silence.
hear a pin drop, and I mean, you're talking about a stadium that's 50,000 people, and then you have all the people in the standing room only. And I just remember it's like somebody. It's almost like I don't want to get too sciencey, but if like someone took the lid off a Minute Maid and just all the air got sucked out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I just remember like it was just it felt like the biggest gut punch I had ever felt.
yeah.
And like and for us, we're older. I mean, so we've been through the multiple 100 loss seasons. I
felt like
think that
100-year seasons.
yeah, I think that Pujols home run to me was worse than the 2015 uh, bullpen disaster and that game 4 of the wild card. Or no, it
Oh,
was
with
division
Kansas City.
series
It was
against
Kansas City. Yeah,
KC. Yeah, because I mean, like like you knew that once KC came back and won that game, it's like I don't care if they pitched fucking Sandy Koufax that next game. Their momentum was done. Like they were done. And like I don't know why, but like I still had hope in that because that was '05, right? Where Pujols hit the home run, or was that
Yeah,
'04? That was '05. I don't know why, but I still had all this hope they were going to win Game 7. But when the bullpen blew that game against KC in 2015, I was like, yeah, this series is done. It's like
hmm
that was it. This was their chance, But then we got to see the beast that Correa ended up becoming.
yeah.
And then I just remember Colby Rasmus hitting that home run. And the first thing Mandy's saying is like, why does his hair look like that? Take a shower.
dude, his hair was always wet. And the one thing that
Yeah.
I'll remember about Colby Rasmus that I loved him the most for was, you remember back when they were doing that in like 15, 16, they do the player profiles every game. Like, hey, meet Colby Rasmus. He went to school here. He does this. What's his favorite color? Colby Rasmus, his favorite color was camo. That was my favorite part.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say he did like some side whip where you see the hair come
yeah.
back and hit him in the face and come back.
He would like literally wet his hair down between innings, man. And
It's
it's
like the
still to
dude for
this.
the it's like the dude for the Phillies down.
Oh, Marsh. Marsh?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Brandon
Yeah.
from the Marsh.
Like
Yeah.
actually, like honestly, I honestly thought that his hair was this greasy until I guess we played him or I watched on TV, watched another game, and he did the same thing in between innings. He's pouring water on his hair, and I'm like, dude, you just look dirty. Like you just look
Yeah,
dirty.
like he needs to cut that shit. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, that was another one. Mandy was like, take a shower.
it looks dirty.
And yeah, I mean, so man, like, man, fucking fool host. But yeah, I mean, like, you got to recognize, just like that video we were talking about with, Bonds and Maddox,
Yeah,
dissecting their bat against each other. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, like, I understand the the like the point of view that he cheated, he used steroids. All right, I get it, right? But I think that the way his career was headed, he didn't need the steroids. He would have been a first
oh
ballot Hall
yeah,
of Famer anyway.
no,
I mean, but to be fair, if I'm going to play devil's advocate, right? If it was not for that steroid era, that essentially, because like this was coming, like you look at McGuire and Sosa, right? I mean, that essentially, because baseball had just came off that 94 strike, which essentially killed whatever momentum Montreal had that season because they were fucking rolling that year.
Yeah, but so was Houston.
And yeah, so was Houston. But what I'm saying is that after the strike, I mean, because I mean, you look at it now. I mean, like, I mean, obviously, football is always going to be king, right? I mean, but like baseball, it had a huge gut punch. That home run race essentially saved baseball. It got baseball back into like the mainstream.
Yeah.
100%.
So it's like, yeah, you want to, on one hand, chastise these guys for doing what they did, which I get, but you're not gonna recognize what they did to essentially resurrect the game, right? So it's like, in my opinion, Clemens, Sosa. Man, I don't even. Sosa had like 2 good years, so fuck Sosa. But like McGuire, Bonds, all those guys should be in. Pete Rose should be in, if you ask my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I agree with that one.
but like, like I get it. They cheated, okay, but they kind of brought baseball back into the mainstream when it was a dying sport. I mean, because it wasn't like football when football had their lockout. I mean, they were the second the lockout ended, they were right back on top, right?
Like, football's
Baseball, like
God.
baseball had to like was crawling back from like they were like barely having a pulse, and then McGuire and Sosa went on that home run. And there's no way you can tell me that those
And Griffey
commissioners,
was coming up.
yeah, those commissioners had no idea all those dudes were juicing.
Oh,
Oh,
Bud
they
Selig
know.
knew that 100%.
Yeah. So I mean,
It's
like
just
again,
turn a blind eye until you can't anymore.
yeah, I mean, like
When
so
your
like
hat size grows that big, I mean, come on. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's just like I get they cheated, okay, but they also probably did more for the game of. I mean, the game of baseball is where it's at now, probably majorly on the shoulders of that home run race back in the late '90s.
I just like with Bonds, it's like the only thing that when I look at Bonds, I just don't look at him as the home run king. That's the biggest thing, right? I mean, yeah, he is technically right because he has hit more. It's just an asterisk next to him because
Well, I mean, there's a lot of
dude,
people that don't think the Astros won the 2017 World Series.
yeah, well, they
So,
can pound sand.
well, there
So.
you go. I mean, so you kind of have to, can't play both
I'll
ways.
tell you what, I don't lose sleep over it at all.
I don't
You
lose
know,
sleep either. I still have motherfuckers telling me about this Kikuchi trade about, the last one. You're talking about
hey,
getting me
we're
revved
sitting
up.
right here, man. Okay.
I know.
No, not you two. No, I look forward to every time Kikuchi has a good start. I just text PK and I just say it's another good start, and I just wait.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
somebody,
And that's my response. It's like, yeah, he did.
I had I had somebody come at me and say, "Well, uh, Will Wagner's crushing it in Toronto,
Yeah,
and
one game.
we get stuck with Pedro Leon." And I said, "And I've been doing really good. We talked last week about me being an adult. That lasted for about 3 days. So I said, not on my watch.
Yeah.
So at first I said, well, you got 3 fantastic starts from Kikuchi, so move on. So then he came at me and said, well, I didn't even talk about Kikuchi. I'm talking about Leon. Get your facts right if you're going to run a baseball. I'm like, oh, motherfucker.
Here we
Like,
go.
okay. I'm like, all right, let's have a smart conversation. Okay. Will Wagner. Y'all, I mean, PK, Bryles, since you've been on board, I've been a huge advocate of Will Wagner.
Right.
I have. I've been all about let Bregman walk, call up Wagner. He's your new third baseman, right? Will Wagner got called up, and he's playing what position for the Toronto Blue Jays?
Second base.
Second base. Okay. So
I think we have one.
So
Yeah.
my point was,
Okay.
Oh yeah, that guy.
if we only had a guy that was better than Will Wagner to play second base, that's right, we do. We have a MVP, this generation's Craig Biggio, right? And that might be downplaying it.
Yeah.
Now he also plays third base. So if we only had a third baseman that was better than Will Wagner, that would play. Who would that be that would play over him?
I don't have anywhere to point.
Yeah,
But the hottest batter right now in Major League
Yeah.
Baseball.
So my point was Wagner is going to play. He was never going to play. The reason why Pedro Leon is playing because he's an outfielder, and our outfield is hammer dog shit right now. Right, all of them fucking suck. If Pedro Leon was a third baseman, he'd be in AAA right now.
yeah,
right?
that's fair.
You can't have Wagner play first base because that's pretty much every person that is on that team that's doing any type of good has been transitioned to first base.
Oh yeah, no, you're
It
right.
was DeZenzo first, and he was supposed to be the heir apparent to Bregman. So now they moved Shea Whitcomb from shortstop because he's not going to play over Pena. He's a shortstop and second baseman. See the whole Will Wagner argument. They transitioned him over to first base because right now the only way to get on this roster right now is either outfield or first base.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to explain to him that there's no place for Wagner to play. There's not, unless you're going to convert him to outfield, which you're not.
Yeah,
You're not wrong. Don't get me wrong. And I also agree with you on the fact that like there's probably like just a left-handed first baseman's mitt and a right-handed first baseman's mitt that they just go set out by first base when they start like fielding practice, like before the game. Because what are they gonna do? They're just gonna rotate guys in and out. And that's really sad. I mean, we got to get first base taken care of, but at the same time, there's not a real plan for that. So, and also I did text about the Wagner and Leon situation. So hopefully you're talking about somebody other than me because I wasn't starting an argument with you.
No.
But
This was
look, Riles. You know what's good is what you need to do with Chris is you get in,
poke the bear,
and you stir it a little bit, and then you back out.
just wait for it to rise.
Just wait for it to rise, man. And it happens like clockwork.
It does. No, I mean, it was somebody on a post. So of course, in the whole post was we miss Loperfido, and then the newest comment was the whole thing about Pedro Leon versus Will Wagner. And I said, I mean, I get it, I do. I mean, but there's nowhere for him to play. I mean, it's that simple. There's nowhere for him. He was There's a reason why he was expendable.
And speaking of Leon, I don't know if anyone has told him, or maybe he thinks he's just a showboat, but he's lucky his ass didn't get tagged out at third.
Yeah.
Maybe he forgot that Siri's got a freaking cannon.
Yeah, I mean, he should know. He played with Siri last year in AAA. I mean, with Pedro Leon, I mean, he has to understand one big thing is that he's not a top prospect for the Astros. I think he was like their 24th ranked prospect.
He was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I mean, but so if you're not one of these guys that have, like DeZenzo has a longer leash than Pedro Leon does. So your ass better be up there hustling every time you have a chance to hustle because just like Wagner, I mean, Leon is expendable, right? I mean,
DeCenzo's growing on me, man. I kind of like the kid.
Yeah, no, he's hitting. He, I mean, like we were talking about in take 1 or 2. I mean, he got his
or 7.
Yeah, or 7. He got his first home run over the road trip, which is fantastic. But he's looking really good, and I agree. I think he's got a longer leash, definitely than Leon. I mean, just like we were saying, it's like Leon was the top prospect 3-4 years ago. I mean, he was sitting next to Forrest Whitley on the bench. So
Leon's not even getting any run though. He's barely playing.
Well,
Look,
I mean,
this is how bad it is. They are putting Chas McCormick in the lineup over Leon.
$1.90 Chas McCormick.
Yes. Yeah. And speaking of that, I did tag you in something on Twitter. And I thought it was kind of funny, only because you said that the alligator guy's from League City. But the thing said, imagine being an adult and dressing up as an alligator to drive to the stadium to cheer on a player that bats 199 every game. And so I tagged you in, and then when I sent it, I was like, oh shit, I hope that wasn't his friend.
Dude, I ran into. Don't worry. You're good.
Yeah, I mean, that whole, I mean, but like, it's the same shit that they did with Loperfido. I mean, they called him up. He sat for the first two games, and then he played, and then he played another game, and then he sat for another two games. I mean, but I will tell you this: when you compare Leon to DeZenzo's at bats look so much better than
Yeah.
Leon's. I mean, Leon looks like he's just up there hacking,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
like he's up there thinking that these guys. I mean, and again, too, like another thing you have to take into account is a lot of these numbers in the PCL. You know, because you're playing in like Las Vegas, you're playing in all of these.
Albuquerque.
Yeah, you're playing in all these like
High altitude, dry
higher
climate.
altitude places. So all of those numbers are a lot of them are pretty inflated, right? Like you look at Loperfido. Loperfido comes out, he hits like 16 home runs in the first four games of the season, and then kind of cools off a little bit. He gets the call up, and I think he's only went deep twice. Leon, I don't think he's hit anything better than the single since he's been up. I mean, at
Well,
least
that's
Zenzo,
yeah. Yeah,
Zenzo's
I
going
only
yard.
remember him hitting one single, and that was him getting thrown out at second for his first hit.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, when he pulled the BGO
The
3000 hit.
BGO, yeah.
yeah.
And Wood Tavares is like, please don't make me throw your ass out.
Yeah, I mean, Leon is looking overmatched, kind of
Oh
like,
yeah,
which is why, like, I think that if he got off to a better start, then you wouldn't see Chazzy Chaz in the lineup every day. Like Chaz right now is playing himself to be a free agent. Like I don't see any reason that you offer him arbitration at the end of the season.
look,
Right? It
aside
sucks.
from the fact that he has no value, like if there was value for him, I think they would have moved him in July, but there wasn't, right? Because he's terrible.
Yeah. I
So
Well,
mean,
that's. I don't think they could have traded Myers. I don't think they could have traded Chaz. I mean, there wasn't an outfielder other than our hurt Tucker, or I mean Alvarez, if you want to count him as an outfielder, that anybody would have even remotely considered
yeah,
trading for.
yeah.
So it's they're going to have to take a serious look in the offseason at outfield free agents and first base free agents,
And
and that's the best they're going to get right
well,
now.
and the other thing is like they're going to hang with McCormick because he costs a third of what Abreu did. And obviously, there's two different positions, but with Abreu, he had such a big number and he was terrible, so you let him go to eat it. But like, you don't really have anybody that you can put out there. I mean, you could put Leon out there, I guess, every day, right? But I just don't understand. I mean, I think you're still looking at McCormick and hoping McCormick's going to turn something around, get hot at the right time, right? But he looks completely overmatched at the plate, like completely overmatched. Like he doesn't know what he's doing. Now,
well,
I think it's probably more now the mental thing. He knows he's sucking at life, so he's probably pressing because he's swinging at garbage also. So he's going there trying to touch the baseball.
yeah, I mean, but these outfielders that'll be free agents are a dime a dozen. A
Oh yeah,
dime a dozen. I mean, so like I mean, from what I know, like I said, we went to the Space Cowboys game this past Saturday, and Jacob Melton's not lighting it up down there. He's hitting like 170 something, right? And we just talked about how inflated the PCL stats are,
yeah.
right? So he's not giving them anything to like write home about. They just called up Kennedy Corona to
I saw that.
AAA. He's been on their 40-man roster all season, and he just barely
Mm-hmm.
made it to AAA. I mean, so I mean, you could easily, like, if you have this love affair with Jake Myers, right? And I get it, his defense, whatever, but you can find anybody you can throw out in left field for the money that Chaz is probably going to be getting in arbitration, probably for even maybe a little bit cheaper than that. And then, just because he doesn't look like he doesn't look like a
No,
major leaguer when he goes up there.
no,
So,
not at
I
all.
mean, I mean, look, he's probably making like 3-4 million in arbitration right now. So arbitration next year is going to be like, I mean, he might get a small bump because he's been such trash this year. But you're telling me we couldn't get? I mean, you could bring Tommy Pham in for 3 million, and he's having a better year than McCormick is.
Yeah, and he likes to fight too.
Yeah, I'm all about bringing someone that likes to fight.
Yeah, bring Tommy Pham in, or just like you're saying, just any of these guys that are going to actually hit better than that. And don't get me wrong, I mean, Chaz was good last year, and he was good in 2022 as well. But he's whatever he's got going wrong, he looks tired at the plate. He looks slow. Like everything he's doing, even in the outfield, doesn't even like it. Just looks like he's not
Like not
going
like mentally there.
full
Yeah,
tilt. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And I agree, Jake Myers, yeah, he's got great defense. I mean, he's a very streaky hitter. Don't get him in a spelling bee. But other than that, I mean, it's we can definitely do better than those two guys.
Well, and there was a game, one of the games in Arlington where Chaz was playing left, and there was ball hit out to left. We got a runner scoring from third, and Chaz throws it in between the batter's circle and home plate, and then it kicks off the back and rolls
I saw
around to
that.
the, and then the runner gets advanced another 90, and it's like, I know you're not there for your arm or to throw runners out, but good God, like
Yeah, that
hit
throw
it.
was terrible.
It was, I mean, ass. I want to say I don't think he was a defensive replacement. I think he was actually there, but it's tough to see because like you want to think of McCormick from the World Series, right? Making that catch in center field in Philadelphia, right? And the season that he had, like you want that player to stay that same way, but he's the complete opposite, man. And it sucks. It's kind of like, watching Presley on the first take that we had where, we're used to this guy being nails, but it's like he wants to get traffic on before he gets the blood flowing. And then he's like, all right, I'm going to try to shut this thing down. Most of the time he does, um, but yeah, the outfield situation has got to get handled in the offseason. That's
So
that starting pitching.
I've got a legitimate question, and this is for this season. Kevin Biggio got DFA'd by the Dodgers. Where did he go after that, or is he sitting on the couch?
I think he's still free.
Let me see. Give me a minute.
Because
I'm surprised you don't have him on your speed dial, Chris.
there's no reason why he shouldn't be playing an outfield position for us right now over either one of those guys or Leone, to be quite honest with you.
He's released.
Yeah, he's a free agent. He hadn't signed.
Yeah, well, he needs to call Pops and say, "Hey, Dad, can you give me a job? Because we need to put him in, I don't know, at least left or center field for the time being until we get Tucker back." There's no reason why we wouldn't have him, and then also to supplant somebody at first base when we need him, or if one of the other infielders needs a day off. I mean, the guy is better than Aledmus Diaz, which, by the way, we haven't seen him in the outfield, or not that I can remember.
Or playing.
Or playing, period.
Yeah,
and then I don't understand that. Why? Not why has he not been playing? It's why did you make a darker gray Kessinger? Because that's what he is right now. He's taking up a spot.
I have no idea. The only thing I can think of is like he had some favor card, like, "Hey, by the way, sorry we had to release you and you're playing for the A's. I know that. We'll come pick you up later just in case if you ever get released." And he just said, "Hey, by the way, remember." And now all of a sudden he's on the team again. So, but yeah, he's taken up a spot for absolutely no reason. Yeah, I haven't seen. I mean, we saw him maybe 2-3 games. That's it.
Oakland series.
2 games, yeah.
2 games. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that was like 2 weeks ago.
Between him, Dubon, Myers, McCormick, I mean, it's not a good situation at all that. And like we were saying in take number 3, we're nitpicking at a situation that's turned out really, really well.
Yeah.
I mean, we are the hottest team in the American League right now. The only thing that has overshadowed that was when what's his name, Judge, hit 300 home runs. All right, congratulations, you hit 300 home runs faster than anybody else. Give you a golf clap, and then on to the next one. But listen, we've been the hottest team there.
No, I agree.
Even the Royals broadcaster threw shade at Judge. I don't know. I saw it on Twitter today, so I don't know if it was today's game or yesterday's game, but Bobby Witt, went yard again, right? And the broadcaster for Kansas City basically said that if Judge played in Kansas City, he'd only have 29 because he's not hitting at he's hitting at a real ball field. And
Right.
those comments always crack me up. It's like we talked about last episode with that one. I told you about the one Texas Ranger fan that talked about Josh Young's home run that wasn't, that it'd be out in 3 parks out of 30, even Minute Maid's Mickey Mouse porch. And it's like, well, you know what? You don't play there, so it's now, dickhead. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like it's hard to nitpick. I mean, but like I said, all three of the outfielders we have going on right now, I mean, it's trash. And it goes to show how good your hitters 1 through 5 are, because they're doing the bulk of all of this. Now, and
Yeah.
again, you sprinkle it in with like DeZenzo's home run. Every now and then Myers will get a base hit. But I mean, for the
Dubon gets a
most,
game winning single, that type of stuff.
yeah, whatever. But I mean, like,
That's it. Start and
you're
leave,
looking
baby.
through
Start and
five.
leave.
Yeah, they were saying that before yesterday's game, he was 3 for 19 on that road trip, and I think he ended up going 1 for 5 in that game. So he was 4 for 23.
Who's that?
Dubon. So
You're going to have those times in the long season, where you just go through that slump. But that's that. Don't tilt your head like that at me.
come on, man. Dude, he's been slumping for 2 months now. That's not a a couple weeks. Okay. I mean, again, Bregman has a massively long leash, right? I mean, look at the night and day difference, right? I mean, Dubon got off to a hot start, maybe the first month and a half, and then he's been shit since then.
Well, but you also knew that wasn't sustainable. That's not Dubon. He's not hitting 300.
Well, I don't think that what he did last year was sustainable either. I mean, so what like I said, I've been on the bring Kevin Biggio since day one. I mean, but again, like your 1 through 5 has been doing the bulk of your offensive lifting, and then you'll get a little touch of rainbow sprinkles here and there from the guys that don't really matter. Where like back in the day, our lineup was so deep that pitchers would just like, man, I can't wait to face Maldonado.
I was about to say, they can't wait to get to the number 9 batter.
Yeah. And but it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for them to go in there, go into free agency next year, right? Because we still have Montero's money on the books. We still have Abreu's money on the books. I think JV did them a huge favor by being hurt.
By not investing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so they can walk away from that. So, but I think we're only paying JV like 17. So between Montero and Abreu, we're still in the hole like 11.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you let Chaz go. I mean, that puts you in the hole 7. I mean, I don't think they let Dubon. I think they'll do arbitration with him. I mean, it's just, I don't think this is going to be a massively huge offseason. I think it's going to be like it was this year, with the exception of there's not going to be no emergency injury that's going to cause us to go pay $95 for a position that we already have.
But like Houston spends money on pitching anyway, right? Like they're not big spenders in the outfield, or I guess their big spending was
that's
Abreu.
not always true. I mean,
their big spending was Abreu, right? Bagwell's Abreu, but I mean, who else? Who else did they spend big money on?
Well, it wasn't big money, but the contract for the time. I mean, you got to think. Brantley's contract was 16 a year.
I mean, but Uncle Mike, dude, I loved Uncle Mike.
Well, I'm not saying they wasted money on terrible players. I'm saying like they went out, they got Josh Reddick. I mean, that was, I think, $12 million a year.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm talking about like big splash, big power.
Well, I mean, like right now, your hands are tied because you've got Bregman. I don't know what you're doing with Bregman, so you let him walk. Okay, so if you let him walk, right, then it's like, okay, what are we going to do with Tucker now?
They would look absolutely nuts right now if they let Bregman or Tucker walk. I mean, I know Tucker's been hurt which that's the other thing. It's like, don't get me wrong. I understand that he fouled 2 balls off on his shin in a row, but the dude's been out for what, 6 weeks now? 5 weeks?
Oh, it's
I
been
mean,
more than that.
2 months. It
Two months.
happened on June 3rd.
yeah, for like a bone bruise. I mean, like, there has to be something they're not disclosing there.
Oh,
So
there is.
you don't have to necessarily take care of Tucker in the offseason this year, but you damn sure better take care of Bregman. And right now, that guy is making himself bulletproof when it comes to the offseason. So unless he's, for whatever reason, trying to find like a $500 million contract and everybody balks at it, he's not going to give us a hometown discount. He's not going to take that Correa deal that went to Minnesota for like 3 years for what was it, like 28 million per. That's not going to happen. So they're going to have to figure something out and figure it out pretty quick.
Well,
No,
I think
at the
Bregman's going to
beginning
be
of
at 350 million. That's going to be his.
He's looking for
yeah,
like Xander Bogarts money.
no, he said he wanted a Machado like contract, and San Diego gave Machado 10 years.
Oh, dude, there's no way he's getting
No.
10 years. I don't care.
Well, the Astros don't
what
do it
team.
anyway.
I'm just
Yeah, the
telling
Astros
you.
won't do it, but I'm saying no teams are going to give him 10 years.
No,
There's
I mean,
no
with
way.
him being, I don't know, man. With him, he's only what, 28. I
That's
mean,
what I was saying.
you just saw 2 years ago. You saw Seager get 10 years, right? You just saw Trey Turner get 11, right? I mean, and then
Both
you
those are
got
mistakes. I'm telling you.
you got Shohei. He got 10, right? That was a 10-year, what, 700 million?
Yeah, but he's
That
getting paid
might
$1
be
million
the
a
only
year.
one that pays out. Well, and
Yeah.
like PK said,
Well,
he's getting $1
it'll
million a
pay
year
out.
with
It's
Bobby
working
Bonilla
now,
money
but
until he's like 90.
in 10 years, when a chunk of their salaries
Yeah,
went to the guy who's
And
retired. I mean,
that's
but
fine. But Otani, like I'm paying that all day, twice on Sunday.
yeah, but the thing is that like he's not even pitching this year, so you're only getting half the value this year, right? But that's what I mean. I feel like one team it's going to be somebody fucking stupid that no one sees coming. It's probably going to be
The
Arizona.
Cubs.
I'm thinking Arizona.
Arizona always has fucking money, dude.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, they got Corbin Carroll. They got him locked up. I don't think they paid an arm and a leg for him. They got him.
No, he's
at
on like a
pretty,
Yordan contract.
yeah, so they got him fairly cheap, right? I mean, so they don't have a player right now that I could think off the top of my head that's making, maybe outside of Carroll, 20 plus million.
But PK, to the point you were bringing up about the contract on Shohei Otani, what if Crane does something crazy like that with Bregman and gives him like $1 million a year for 10 years, and then all of a sudden he gets like a bonus of what, $300 million, like, in the year 2035.
Absolutely not. Like I would never do that. I would never do that for Houston, just because of the dead money that is sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, like
that's the only reason.
we don't have the paycheck, the check stubs that the Dodgers
the
have,
Dodgers,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, so unless he was like, man, I'm going to sell the team in 5-6 years, so I don't give a shit. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
But like us in 10 years, they're going to be bitching about how terrible of a fucking contract that was, and now it's handcuffed this team.
Yeah, and we're back to
they have to pay the new owner like $100 million for us to move back to the National League.
Yeah. I mean, like I just think that I think there will be someone that comes out of nowhere that has the money to do it. I mean, it could be the Cubs trying to make that big splash, make them relevant again. It could be Arizona trying to look for that big veteran piece that, could hit in the playoffs. I mean, or it could be someone completely out of nowhere.
I just hope it's not New York, dude. The Yankees.
It could be the Yankees.
I mean, I know it could be, but they're going to be so tied up with Juan Soto. I mean,
they're re-signing.
I agree. I think they're going to sign Soto before they try to sign anybody else. And not only
Soto's
that, I mean,
25, which I didn't realize he was that freaking young.
Oh my God! Did you not
Did you not know that he was 21 years old? And that's all?
Like the entire 2019 World Series was just he's only 19. He's only 19. Then I guess memes of Buck with he's only 19 tattooed on his chest.
I guess I don't. I mean, I just didn't realize that. I guess it would be like Buck talking about I don't know if y'all know, but Anthony Rendon's from Bel Air. Did y'all know that?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to come down to. I really think it'll be Yankees or Dodgers that go after Soto. That's what I think because right now, I mean, they paid peanuts for Teoscar Hernandez pretty much, and he's outperformed. He's already outperformed that contract.
Mm-hmm.
That deal with Otani frees them up so much money for them to do
Whatever.
whatever. I mean, they have a hole in the outfield.
Well, Kershaw's towards the end, right? So his contract's coming off at some point.
Yeah, I mean, so like, I think I have Soto going to the Dodgers. To be honest with you,
I think the Yankees resign him. I think they're going to do anything and everything they can because him and Judge back to back on that lineup. I mean,
yeah,
you
but
can't replace that.
people said that about Otani. People thought that Yankees were going to go hard on Otani, and they did, and he chose the Dodgers. Right? I mean, so I mean, who would not pass up a chance to play with Mookie Betts and I mean Freddie Freeman too, but and Shohei? I mean, who would pass that up?
Yeah, that's a story for another episode of When Do We Care About the Northeast, which is noted.
Yeah.
You mean our bitch that we literally
Yeah,
beat every year in the playoffs?
When it really
Yeah.
matters. When it
Yeah.
really fucking matters.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, like, I would love to see. Yeah, because I was looking at it. The Dodgers put Kevin Biggio on waivers, and they could either A, release him, or B, he send him down to AAA. But because he's got 5 years of service, he has the option to reject the
Assignment, right?
the assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
And
did
that,
not
that was
accept
like
it.
that was like 9 days ago. I haven't heard anything if he's accepted it or not. So,
But even so, he's not on the 40-man roster, so we could go pluck him off anytime we wanted to. So that's the whole thing. And it's not just us. I don't understand why. Because don't get me wrong, I mean, I still feel like Dana Brown's, rounding the back nine right now and is not really picking up his phone. But I mean, Kevin Biggio should be on this team right now, just from every reason we talked about the outfield, about the issues we have in the infield, and the two issues, the glaring issues we have with the utility player. I mean, he rounds everything out. And the one thing that we've talked about, and Chris especially brought it up, about a month ago, is like this guy would be selling absolutely everything out of the shop you could possibly imagine. Jerseys, bobbleheads, hats, T-shirts, anything you can possibly think of.
yeah, I mean, I think if you sell it right, I mean, as far as like, I think anybody who has a decent grip knows that this kid is a utility infielder, right? He's not going to come in. He's not going to play first base every day. And I think if you come in with that realization that he's a utility infielder, right? I mean, it takes all the pressure off from him because he had all that pressure in Toronto because he was part of the big three kid or the big three sons of really good major leaguers, two of them Hall of Famers. But I mean, I think that I mean if we've got like what 40 games left in the season, 50 games. I
Yeah.
mean, so that contract he's making, you're on the hook for like the last like 6% of that contract.
Yeah. What, like $400,000?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, so you're holding up a spot with Diaz. I mean, really, you could send Pedro Leon back down to AAA, right? Or if you don't, you send fucking Diaz back down to AAA, and then you put Kevin Biggio, who can, is a left-handed bat off the bench, and it's appeared to me like he enjoys hitting a Minute Maid Park. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, he did a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So, but to bring this entire talk disaster that's went in every single way, but in an organized fashion, guys, we got to this point because we tried to go live on Facebook 7 times. It failed. I had to do a the walk of shame. I had went live.
Don't act like you don't know what that is.
Uh,
Oh, what is that again?
yeah, I don't know. I think there was a movie about it.
And just
So
for like retrospect, none of us work in an IT department anywhere.
yeah, I
No,
mean, so I didn't do anything different than I did the last two times that we were able to go live. So
except make us go live.
except make us go live. Uh, yeah, I mean, like I even created a new live, thing just to see if maybe I click something different. We still didn't go live. So, but we do have some pretty exciting things going on this weekend. We got the White Sox, and it always seems that these teams that we look at on paper, this should be a really easy series. Turns out to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Hoping that we at least bare minimum take 2 of 3. And then we got the Red Sox coming into town. I think what, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Hmm.
or Monday, Tuesday,
Mhm.
Wednesday, something like
Tuesday.
that.
Something.
So we just beat up on the Red Sox. We can beat up on them again. Um, as far as other things, find out Saturday if I get the call. If not, then it's a good thing I didn't talk shit to Strongfield. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, man, like it's just
Well, you know that if you get the call, you can't hold practice on Thursdays.
well. So how it works is they have 3 separate drafts, and I guess you do the first draft, and depending on where you pick in the first draft, so you have one draft obviously is for the players, and then you have a second draft for your team name, and then a third draft for your practice times. So if we get first pick for like a team name, I mean, obviously, I think we know which team we're going with.
You're going to the
Uh,
Rangers? Okay, got it.
I'm gonna petition to be the Yankees, and then, uh, and then like we'll probably get bumped to a lower spot probably in the draft, and then we may get like a mid spot for like the pick in the practices. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, so let's play this before we get out of here. You don't get the Astros.
Okay.
What team are you going to go with?
Well, I mean, it depends. I don't know if they changed their teams. I mean, Bryles, you might know y'all played fall ball.
Hmm.
Are the teams all the same that they were?
Yeah, they're pretty much the same. The only one that you can count on is Shane taking the Mariners, and then the rest of them kind of rotate around.
Okay, so if I had to choose, let's say I had pick number 2 and the first pick went to the Astros. I don't know. Like if I listen to Mandy, she wants me to take a Florida team, so she wants me to pick the Rays or the Marlins. Um, Personally, like I think the Diamondbacks have a pretty cool color.
I was
Yes,
just, I
sir.
swear to
That's
you,
what
dude,
I'm
I,
thinking.
I
D-backs.
was
So,
thinking Arizona. I
so
swear to you, that's how.
honestly, like my initial guess, like because Benjamin asked me, and I was like, well, if we can't beat the Astros, I'd probably pick the Diamondbacks, just because, you know, like I like, they got red, black, and white, and
Yeah.
whatever. And that's when Mandy was like, "Oh, you should pick the Marlins or the Rays." I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. So those that would probably be my 4: either Astros, Diamondbacks, and then one of the 2 Florida teams, whichever one's not taken.
All right,
As
what
your
about for
assistant
those?
coach, I'm saying that we should go with the D-backs, but that's my vote.
Yeah, I mean, out of spite, I would not pick the Rangers, even if they're the last team. I'd be like, "Can we change our team name to we
And
Anything
can
other
we'll
than the
be
Rangers?
the
anything?"
Sugarland Skeeters before we're that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
we will be the fighting dandelions before we be the fucking Rangers.
that's
So
right. We're talking
yeah,
like the Tiger Lilies one year.
no. So fucking when we played Park and Rec with Strumfield, we were the catbirds, which I didn't even know what the fuck a catbird was until I looked it up.
That's
And
the
the first,
thing.
yeah, it is a thing. It's a type of bird.
I've never
Uh,
heard of a catbird.
so like when we did fall ball, we got to pick our team names. We picked the Hammerheads, which I'm down with.
All right, cool. At least it's a
The
cool shark.
yeah, and then like with the spring, because I would assume the coach gets to pick the name. So we were the catbirds, and I'm just like, what the fuck is a catbird? But it is what it is. And then like I think before that, I think we were the Lightning. But like I said, the Park and Rec shit. I mean, like I think you just pick your own team name. But
Yeah, no, you do. And when I was doing it with Colt, I let the team actually pick.
Yeah.
So, but it was based on like what colored jersey we got issued. So one year we got issued green, and all the kids picked the Lizards. And I was like, all right, cool. And then we got yellow and black, and I was like, oh, well, I guess let me guess, you guys want to be the Bumblebees? And they're like, no, we want to be the Minions. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So we're
Yeah.
the Minions, like
Yeah. It
goofy
was
stuff
down
like that.
to yeah, we were down to the Raptors or the Hammerheads, and somehow the Hammerheads won.
Yeah, I like the Hammerheads.
I did too.
So,
I would not have voted on Catbirds.
so we gonna do a quick prediction on the next two before we bounce out?
Absolutely. So again, we had the Sox attack coming in for the next 6 at the Juice Box. PK, what is your prediction?
I'm gonna go 4-2.
4-2. It's pretty safe way
I
to
know
go.
it is. I went 3-3 last 6, so I'll say sweep with the. Oh man, sweep the White Sox. Drop 1 to the Red Sox.
Okay. Rouse, what you got?
PK, you just said 4-2, right?
I know. As I said that, I'm like my math doesn't add up.
Your
So
math is not mathing. Okay, cool.
my math's not math. That's Alvin Community College for you.
Our math was on point on take 1 and 2. After that,
After that, I didn't use the
take
calculator.
9.
yeah.
So we'll go 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3.
Okay. I will actually agree with your previous statement. I think we're going to sweep the White Sox, but with us sweeping the White Sox, I think that we're going to have a couple of games where you definitely are going to want to take the over. I think the MLB over-unders on that entire series are going to be somewhere in the 8 to like 9.5 range, and I think almost every single one of them, 2 out of 3 are going to hit the over, if not 3 out of 3. So I honestly, I think we're going to end up hitting it, and it's going to be a huge, huge offensive series. Now, when it comes to the Red Sox, like you guys have already said, and PK, you actually brought that up too. It was like we've just been absolutely murdering them in Boston. But at the same time, they play as tough when they come to Houston every single time. So I think we end up taking 2 out of 3. From Boston, and we go 5-1 over the next 2 series.
Not too shabby. So, let me pull up the pitching matchups before I make my fucking picks.
He's going to call wins with Kikuchi on both his starts.
Oh yeah, on Friday.
We got Crochet versus Arrighetti tomorrow night. Flexen versus
the
Brown.
over.
And Bush versus Valdez.
Who was Saturday?
Over.
So Saturday is going to be Flexen against Hunter Brown. Now, again, this is a lot different team. This is a completely different team than the last time we played the White Sox. But I feel like this is a trap series. I really do. I feel like, you have all the momentum, 1-8 in a row, and this is like that. This is like the playing Appalachian State before you play the number 2 team in the nation.
Before you play Ohio State using Michigan.
Yeah. Whatever. So I'm going to say we take 2 of 3 to the against the White Sox. We'll lose tomorrow night. I think Crochet will get us tomorrow night against Arrighetti. And then Boston, man, I'm gonna say we take 2 of 3 against Boston. So I'm gonna go 4-2 as well. But I think with Crochet,
that's a safe pick.
I mean, I just think I don't fucking know. I'm gonna go 4-2, but because I went 4-2, watch them go 6-0 and just continue to run the table at 14 in a row.
Well, look, since even though we're not live, we did have a viewer last week that called 5-1. Although we went 6-0, he was better at predicting than we were.
Yeah. Okay. So
he also thinks that runs scored for touchdowns. So I don't know. I don't know how much you want to put into that.
Yeah, I mean, he did show that he just is way above us light years in fantasy football and took a defensive lineman in the 3rd round.
Yeah, and he also drafted Josh Fields and Russell Wilson.
So it's only a touchdown if you put 7 on the board.
So, all right, guys. Well, like I said, what we're going to do here, we're going to stop this. let all the uploading get done so that way the last like 5 minutes isn't just Browse and I talking to each other, listening to you, but no one can hear you. So again, guys, we apologize for how crazy tonight has been. Trust me, this is not the way that we wanted to, do this. So what you got was an hour of us just going off the fucking rails, and eventually we brought it back. We sprinkled some Little League baseball in there as well. I'm telling you, this show has it all, except for professionalism and getting shit to work where you need it to work.
Yeah.
So
next week we'll contact the IT department and we'll get it figured out for the live.
Yeah. So you may see me hop online live just to kind of test it out and see what happens, but
it's just a test.
It's just a test. So don't bring the heat because I'll be like, and I'll turn it off.
And if you work in IT and would like to sponsor the show, please contact Chris Moreno.
Yes,
directly.
If you feel so bad at what we're trying to do here, and you want
I was going to say,
donate some free labor,
you picked the wrong time to make your pitch. All right, guys. Well, like I said, I'll put this out on Spotify, send the links out, and all that shit. So, guys, have a fantastic evening. Enjoy your weekend. Guys, be safe this weekend. And we will catch you hopefully live on next week's episode of The Juice Box Heroes. And I think I stopped.